Shavua Tov, a good tevoch. I want to tell story number 95 of Shivchei Baal Shem Tov, the title of which is Leidas ben Zachar. Remember what I said last week, that the Baal Shem Tov stories have always a background in mystic Judaism, Kabbalah and Hasidus. Stick around for my explanation after the story, otherwise we will misunderstand the words of the Baal Shem Tov. Says the author of the Shivchei Baal Shem Tov, Rav Dover of Linitz, I heard, this is the source of the story, I heard from a Rav Folk HaKohen, Folk or Pollock, I don't know how it's pronounced, that his brother-in-law, Rav Folk's brother-in-law, Rav Shmerel, did not have any male child. The Baal Shem Tov came to lodge by him, came to his town to lodge by Rav Shmerel. And Rav Shmerel didn't have a special guest room in his house, so he sent his wife and daughters to the neighbors to stay there, to have the space for the Baal Shem Tov in his house. And the women who were staying by the neighbor would cook and bring the meal at the time of eating. One day, prior to the Baal Shem Tov leaving back to his home, Rav Shmerel wanted to face the Baal Shem Tov, going to come and ask him to please pray for him so he would have a male child. He turned to the Baal Shem Tov and was not able to speak because of the feeling of shame. The next day, he again faced the Baal Shem Tov and was not able to speak. He felt ashamed to speak. Suddenly, Baal Shem Tov says to him, send for your wife, call her. And the wife comes, and the Baal Shem Tov took a walking staff in his hand and said to her, see to it that you have a male son this year. If not, here is one thing that I say cannot be understood literally, so stick around please. If not, I will break your bones with this staff. And so it was that she gave birth that year to a male child, the son of Rav Shmerel, Rav David, who today is the Av Beis Din, is the head of the rabbinical court of the holy community of Tichelnik. So it was when Rav Dover wrote this, it's been like 40 years after the story, that this child born after this bracha, from the Baal Shem Tov, was the head of the rabbinical court of Tichelnik. It was the minhag, the custom of Rav Shmerel, that even when his wife gave birth to a daughter, he will always go to the Baal Shem Tov and receive from him, from the Baal Shem Tov, a kmiya, an amulet, written amulet for the shmira, for the protection. And he would give the Baal Shem Tov two coins of high value, because he was a very rich merchant back then, and his fortune amounted to 3,000 golden pieces. When the male child was born, as we related before, he came to the Baal Shem Tov and received a kmiya, an amulet, from the Baal Shem Tov. And the Baal Shem Tov told him, or asked him, has your wife given birth to a male child? He said, yes. The Baal Shem Tov told him, you should know that you will no longer have money, because you were given a choice in heaven between having money or having a male child. And I choose for you that it's best for you to have a male child. So in all the things that he purchased that year, he had a loss in all his transactions until he ended up losing his entire fortune. And then he was accepted as the Maggid Misharim, the Maggid of the community of Virchovka, which I don't know where it is. Anyway, Rav Dover of Linitz adds up that he met this child, this Rav David, the son of Rav Shmerel, when he was a guest of Rav Yaakov Yosef of Polnoi, when Rav Yaakov Yosef was the Rav of the community of Nemerov, prior to going to Polnoi. By then, Rav David had become the Moedei Hora, the teaching rabbi in the community of Savran, which is about 80 kilometers south of Uman, and where later there would be a well-known Hasidic dynasty. Now, my explanation for the story: what does it mean that the Baal Shem Tov holds a staff and says to the woman, "I will break your bones if you don't give birth to a male child"? Making a threat to receive a bracha makes absolutely no sense. It's not something a tzaddik would do, and it makes no sense. In the Keser Shem Tov, where we have a first account of the teachings of the Baal Shem Tov, Siman Beis, the very second part, I found that, and this is my association, that the Baal Shem Tov teaches in the name of the Ari HaKadosh, of the Holy Rabbi Yitzchak Luri of Tzfat, that the human body is called a Kli Cheres in Kabbalah, a earthen utensil, an earthenware utensil, and this type of recipient cannot be purified if it's impure by dipping it in the waters of a mikveh. Rather, Shvira Sotakana, so it has to be broken. When it's broken into pieces, then is pure. And so, prior to going in the mikveh, we should have a broken heart, says the Ari HaKadosh. The Baal Shem Tov is quoting him. And then we can receive purity. So the Baal Shem Tov, and this is my interpretation, I will take responsibility for my words. The woman had some outcore, what we call klipa, that held impurity, and the Baal Shem Tov saw it. So by saying the words, "I will break your bones," your atzamos, your etzem, he wasn't talking to the woman, and he wasn't threatening the woman. He was talking to this klipa in the body of the woman, and by saying the words, he broke that klipa. He broke that recipient, and when she went to mikveh, she was able to accept the bracha with complete purity, and so she gave birth to a male child. Not to take away the value of any of the females, since one of them, the daughters of Rav Shmerel, was the wife of this Rav Folk HaKohen who tells the story to the author. I'm translating all the stories of the Baal Shem Tov every week here in the channel in English and in Spanish, and I am writing them down with the hopes to print a book, edit and print a book in Spanish. I appreciate all contributions, links in the description. You have also the thanks button, and I must mention thank you to Miriam Abram from Buenos Aires, whose small donation allowed me to have enough in YouTube to be able to begin collecting. So a big shout out to you, thank you, Yashar Koach. Shavua Tov, a good tevoch, please like, subscribe, share, tell Baal Shem Tov stories. Blessings to all.